evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight, I am Brett the Jet in the booth here with Turn 3 Racing Network to give you the penultimate race of the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Cup Series. That is right, folks. After tonight, we only have the season finale left, as a lot of spots are up for grabs, especially 3rd through 10th. So we'll keep an eye on those points battles. But right now, Jason Wiley sits atop of the charts here in practice. We'll see if he can recreate that lap, let's say, but without the draft. As we wrap up practice here, it looks like 17 cars on the premise here tonight, so a great turnout here, and can't wait to get rolling with the action as practice comes to an end here. Checkered flag is out, so now we head over to qualifying just like before. It is best of your 2 laps here to determine tonight's starting order for our race here at MIS. We'll see who is the first to pit road here tonight. It looks like it will be the 21 GStone machine of Rob Lowell. So Rob here getting that thing up to speed. We'll see him probably run the high line through 3 and 4, try and get as much momentum as he can to take this green flag. I didn't do too much research here in qualifying, folks, so we'll have to play it by ear to see if drivers throw away their first lap to really try and hone in on lap number 2 once these things are fully up to song. Here off at turn number 4, though, the 21 machine at the stripe is on the clock, so we will see what Rob has in store here in qualifying. Rob, a part of that drivers in that fierce points battle. A lot on stake, as a little loose there off of turn number 2. We'll have to see if that affects this first lap here. I know, breaking news, I bet it will. So it looks like Rob gonna throw away this lap, get another running start here for lap number 2. As he will let swing all the way up to the wall, drive it on down, not go below the apron, at least not yet, that is. As Lowell first to put in a time, 39.63. Now John Ross just threw down a 39.56. So looks like even though with that bobble off of 2, not too far off, as more cars put in lap times here. We'll show it on the left part of your screen. As Johnny Barker with the quick time, a very fast 39.34, but here's the question, how much faster is this lap? We'll see him go to the apron here as the 21 machine finishes there, 39.31, so there is some speed here on lap number 2. We'll take a look now at the W46 machine. Has Dirtbag Racing there on the hood. This is Eli Raposa in that 46 as Eli gets a piece of the wall there off of turn number 2. Not what you want here in qualifying, because any sort of contact, anything that can give you an incident point, folks, anything such as hitting the wall, losing control, going off track, let's say even, will disallow qualifying laps. So this one will not come up in the timing and scoring, so Eli just going to have this second lap. Through 1 and 2, and if any indication from that 21 here tonight, it looks like going to be a handful off of turn number 2, as we've seen drivers both get loose and tight on their own, and it's going to be only, downhill from here once we get some draft involved, get that dirty air. As Johnny Barker, best time so far, 39.20, a great lap there from the number 6 crew. Nate Catola jumping up to P number 2, so awesome run by him as Raposa crosses the stripe here. He will jump into the top 10 with a P number 10. So it looks like 4 cars have not taken a lap. One of these drivers being this 13 machine. It is Jason Wiley now we're taking a look at here. Wiley looking to complete this lap, so we'll keep our eyes glued to the left side of your screen there. And Wiley able to sneak into the top 10 with a nice little P number 9. So about 45 seconds or so left here in qualifying. So if anyone wants a shot at that top spot, they're going to have to do it quick, as you'd pretty much run out of time now to put in a new lap. So we're going to head on over and give the man at the top a little award here, a little praise. As of course Johnny Barker here tonight, walking away with the BG Graphics Pole Award from Michigan International Speedway. So congrats there to Johnny. Another great qualifying effort. Started towards the front of another field. Let's hope he can string it all together again. It was great talking to him last week. Hopefully we get another chance to, as he's starting with the best seat in the house. That's right, folks, from the front row. As that will do it here for qualifying. Now we'll head on over to go through tonight's starting lineup. Like we just said, we gave him his BG Graphics Pole Award to the man starting on the pole. That is the number 6 Ford Mustang of Johnny Barker. To his outside, another great qualifying effort from this guy right here. It is the 5 of Nate Catola starting on the front row. Then we head to row number 2, our current points leader. It is the 44 of John Ross. And to his outside, the GStone number 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 25 Bud machine of AJ Cawthon. To his outside will be the 82 of Nick Larson, the one playoff driver that did not, well, let's say the one that missed the playoffs, that definitely will have a strong bid for next season, as Larson rolls off 6th. 7th going to the 51 machine of Dalton Powell. 8th, the 16 Leaf Guard machine of Steve Ritter. 9th will be the 13 of Jason Wiley, and rounding out the top 10 starting order will be the 31 of Christian Delgado. Then rolling off P number 11 will be the 46 of Eli Raposa. To his outside, the 47 of Joseph Gervala. 13th will be Ariba Canton in the 30 with Leroy Cobblenets in the 43, rolling off 14th. 15th going to the 24 of Kenny Reel, pretty much the last guy trying to reel in John Ross in points, but running out of time. To his outside will be the 27 machine. That is Connor Barker. And then starting shotgun on the field here tonight will be the 52 of Dave Farella. So that will do it here for the starting lineup. 120 laps the distance here tonight, as these drivers looks like getting ready to rock and roll. Countdown is off, and it looks like 2 cars not out there on pit road. I believe the 27 and the 52 machine both not making the call, as we see drivers rolling from their starting orders here tonight. Since this track is bigger than 1.5 miles, we will be going green right away. As we see the last car rolling, that's a 24 machine of Kenny Reel here, getting up to speed. But front row, the number 6 down low, Johnny Barker leading the field to green. And to his outside, I mentioned it before, but we got to give this guy some props here. Nate Catola starting on the front row. You love to see it. It would be awesome to be talking to him by the end of tonight's race. So here we go, folks. We got cars getting all lined up here tonight, and we are getting ready to turn them loose for 120 laps, let's say. Let's not add on extra laps if we don't need to, but we could always do that with a green, white checker. But besides the point, here we go, folks. The iRacing pace car heads down to pit road, and we now wait on the number 6 to fire on off. Johnny Barker waiting. He's on the loud pedal here, and we go green flag racing as Rob Lowell wasted no time to go to the front. He will go 3 wide on the start. We'll dive down 3 wide here into turn number 1 as Catola able to slide right behind Lowell. Barker's going to lead off at turn 4, maybe not 21, full head of steam, and he is flying down this backstretch as everyone trying to find an open lane. Some clean air on that nose by the time they get to the corner, but 21 machine start P number 4 up into the lead and will lead lap number 1. John Ross trying to follow right in the tire tracks. So first lap in the books here, and so far it looks like everyone trying to get out in front here tonight, get that clean air, lead this pack. As Ross will go all the way down, Lowell will run the preferred line. That's probably where we'll see you guys running, is not quite all the way down to this white line to the apron, but that first kind of dark seam, you kind of want to put your lefts on that. Can, hit at different times or whatnot depending on how the car is feeling, but that's where we'll see it as we see Ross down low on both ends. Interesting call, as we got to see if these tires can hang on up. As you know, in real life, these tires very, very durable, but here on iRacing, a little bit more heat sensitive. Barker, big time slide there off of turn number 2. He will continue to lose spots, so Barker definitely saying, I'm going on the long run pace here tonight. He is taking it easy while he's letting everyone else try and push around him. Looking for a battle for P number 4, maybe 5. Jason Wiley now has some momentum up top. But Delgado down low in this 31 machine has the draft down the straightaway, able to just get clear by the time they dive on down, but got that dirty air right as Larson kind of crossed his nose there. So a lot going on throughout this race as we see Delgado jump out of line, trying to make the move once again on Nick Larson. This is going on, battle for the race lead right in front of these guys as John Ross tries to clear himself. Not quite clear. They will drag race. Here comes Nate Catola. Contact. Ross goes around our points leader, in trouble as we see our first yellow flag here, as it looked like 3 wide race and kind of gone bad there. But a tough break for some of these drivers, as looks like everyone able to get rolling from there, but we'll have to see again what happened here on our turn 3 replay here tonight, as kind of 3 wide gone wrong. Ross thought that the 21 may have stayed a little bit higher, than that gets that 44 machine out of shape. Nick Larson having nowhere to go, same with Jason Wiley. Car just popped in front of them, so they will, all 3 of them probably have to use a fast repair here early tonight. But yeah, a very, very tough break here early for our points leader. As we see 13 of Jason Wiley jump down pit road, he is probably going to get that 13 repaired here tonight, try and get it back out here. But man, oh man, here at MIS, these guys aggressive from the drop of the green flag. So under our first yellow flag here on lap number 5, contact at the front of the pack between the 21 and the 44. Just kind of one of those racing deals, like I mentioned before, folks, where I think Ross was maybe kind of predicting 21 to be closer to the wall. Was not the case. They touched, and the rest was history here, as now we see Larson down on pit road to get some damage repaired. So I believe this time by we should see the lights go on out. No cars a lap down, so we will quickly here. As no, we get the 2 to green that time by, so 2 more pace laps, then we can turn these boys loose here once again. As action-packed racing all throughout the field here tonight, as everyone's pretty much been going for it from the drop of the green flag, so we have to see if that continues. As maybe with the first yellow, you know, it may calm some people down, but some of the movers here early, like the 43, Calvinet's already up 8 spots. Christian Delgado up 7. I mean, these guys probably licking their chops at an early yellow, saying, I get to push again and try and continue to go to the front. So everyone still sticking to the original plan pretty much. Only cars down on pit road were involved in that yellow. That of course being Ross, Larson, and Wiley, all of them down. So at least taking some fuel and some repairs. If not, I believe Larson did take some tires. So we'll have to see if Larson has an advantage on these tires. As here we go, choose time for the 21 machine. Interesting, and 21 elects the high side here tonight, so that'll move the 5 to the inside lane. It does bring together those teammates, the 21 and the 6, so expect a pretty good restart on that top lane. Rest of the field will double on up, so everyone that has taken the green flag still out on track. As once again, Katola on the front row in that P2 spot. The 21 machine of Rob Lowell leading the field here, electing the high side. As a half a lap away now to the green flag. Alrighty, I am ready to rock and roll. I hope you guys at home watching are as well, because here we go through 3 and 4. The field will come. iRacing pace car heads down pit road, and here we go. Restart number 1 underway here. Lowell away with a good start, taking Barker with him, as Barker going to be even with Katola by the time they get down into turn number 1. Up through the gears these drivers go, as contact maybe, if not definitely, took the air off that car there, as the 6 and the 5 almost touched there in turns 1 and 2. So strong line forming on the top side. Looks like that's where you want to be, as everyone fans on out as Calvinet's goes up to the wall here, just trying to find some clean air by the time it gets to corner entry. Inside line is very tough to hold these cars down with that limited banking, let's say, and the speeds these cars get up to. I mean, 200 miles an hour, if not very close to, by the time these drivers enter in the corner, as we see Calvinet's and Gravala both in the wall. They're off at turn number 2. So a big time hit for those drivers. And once again, just like anything on iRacing, you gotta wonder, how is that affecting the car? And more importantly, especially here at MIS, how is it affecting the speed As once again, some 3-wide action here on the front stretch, right around our top 10 running spot, as we see Ross trying to cut his way back up through the field here. As out in front, Johnny Barker taking over the point, so number 6 leading the way, has his teammate Rob Lowell in second, and then Christian Delgado up to P number 3 now. Cabinets and now Ritter side by side here going into turn number 1. Cabinets will drive it in there deep and get clear. Ritter, what kind of exit can these drivers have? Is, yeah, Cabinets able to take that spot. Also bring along Gervala now on the top side. Yeah, Gervala will get clear there as Ritter continued to fall back. Here's now Dalton Powell going to try and keep Ritter stuck on that inside lane. Now Catola even with Lowell as Delgado now trying to pick a lane here. Delgado all over the back bumper of the 5. He is guessing the inside lane as Lowell almost in the wall and then cars behind. I mean, especially here, it is so easy to follow the car in front of you into the wall. Let's say they just get that little bit tight right at the very last second. You know, you can follow them in there and then all of a sudden 3, 4, 5 cars into the wall just in one corner. So looking a little bit further out, Barker with a little bit of a lead over Catola. Lowell trying to hold off the rest of this pack as these guys aren't done dicing it up here once again as the 43 of Cabinets off Ritter, off the wall, losing some spots now. As Cabinets somehow able to keep that car facing in the right direction as here we go. John Ross now trying to get back into the top 5 here tonight. Ross, of course, involved in that early yellow. Now trying to work over that 16 machinist Steve Ritter. As for second, looks like Lowell able to get in front of Catola for P number 2. Draft here at MIS, folks, double-edged sword. You want to be in the draft for these long high-speed straightaways, but where the draft is not helpful, it's in these corners. You can see Lowell jump out to that top side here and try and get out of that dirty air, let's say. And so having to pick different lines around this speedway. Here's now that the run's about 10 laps in, very much single filed strung on out here as it is becoming harder and harder to pass the cars around you. And I tell you what, folks, pretty much from here on out, you're just hoping for the car in front of you to make a mistake to have you get on by, but that mistake, you know, can't involve you, can't involve them hitting the wall, coming back down into you or whatnot. So it is very, very tough here as this run continues to go on. So you see Barker kind of running that preferred line, Lowell having to run a different one just to keep that air on that nose, keep those front tires turning as That's going to become more and more of a premium as you see side by side here for the top 5 as John Ross will get clear of Delgado off of turn number 4. Now right behind them, Dawn Powell trying to get to the inside of the 47. Does not have enough of a run on the front stretch. As everyone again fans on out. Everyone pretty much in a pack, you know. We got pack number 2 being led by Jason Wiley. That is 11th on back here. These guys running a little bit slower pace than the rest of the field, so maybe some fuel saving going on or some sort of alternate strategy with those drivers, because they definitely seem like they could be pushing the envelope a little bit more if that was their game plan, in fact. But up in front, you know, a 7-car, let's say 8-car, almost tightly packed group. And AJ Cawthon hanging out there with Eli Raposa, rounding out the top 10 here. As we see now John Ross trying to work over the 5. That would be a battle for that 3rd spot here, as Katola running the top side, Ross down low. You saw the backfire out of Katola, had to get out of the gas, and you can see the momentum he loses. Oh, almost contact there down the backstretch. As man, Delgado got a great run. He's able to get in front of Ross, maybe even clear him if he keeps his foot in. Yes, he does. As wow, Delgado with the momentum had the push from the 47 and able to get back in front of this kind of what's formed to be our second pack here, as the front 2 trying to work together to drive away from them. Further on back, Eli Raposa trying to get around the top side of the 25. Will do that here by the time they get into turn number 1. Ross and Delgado still not quite sorted out fully on their position, because here comes Gravala now trying to throw a little wrench in their battle here, trying to make it a 3-car battle before they know it, as Ross a little bit loose out there. Can Gravala have the run? Looks like won't be enough, as once again entering about the same lines, but just car length differences on the line here. You'll hear me mention a lot, and I bet it'll be mentioned here plenty in the post race, but like I said, all about this air, where you position this race car to try and keep these tires as alive as possible. So 25 laps now have been turned here tonight into double-digit laps here to go, but still a little bit ways off that countdown clock. While everyone continues to use up their tires, let's let the cars do the talking. That's right, folks. A little early turn 3, turn it up here tonight at MIS. Alrighty, back in action here, lap 28 now. We are on as Lowell now out in front over Barker. Delgado still able to hold these two cars off behind him. Delgado currently running third, fourth Ross, fifth Gravala, sixth is Nakatoa, having himself a great run here so far. We see him get a little dicey out in front. Ross and Delgado almost making contact there. So we'll go back up to that battle as, Ross able to keep his foot in it. Delgado with a bobble. That allows Gravala now. See what he has for Ross as Ross now tries to lead this second pack here tonight. And when that first yellow fell when it did, if these drivers can make it anywhere close to lap 65 on fuel, they'll be good to the end. But I think we'll see drivers down in the next 10 laps or so. Unless my crew chief calculations are way off. We'll find out here though in a little bit. But everyone mostly running their own race right now. The teammates working together very, very well out in front. These guys about a second and a half lead over third here. As further on back, Ritter, Powell starting to fall back to reposing. Cawthon and Larson looks like gaining some ground as here we go. I believe some pit stops coming. Front two down on pit road, Lowell and Barker. Looks like both cars safely on down, so gonna split this race into fourths with that strategy. We'll see how much longer these race leaders now want to stay, as Ross now our race leader in the middle of green flag pit cycles. So about half the field down last lap. We'll see how many more are coming down this time by. As it looks like the rest of them coming on down, being led by Ross, Gravala right there, and Delgado. Both of them. Oh, Gravala, big time lock up there. Hopefully he did get down safely, as it looks like here's Kenny reeled down on pit road. So it looks like one car stays on out, hoping for a yellow. That's 82 machine of Nick Larson. And here tonight, it's almost kind of like super speedway pitting. You at least want to pit with one other driver so you can try and use each other to get up to speed quicker in the draft and whatnot. As we see these guys rolling off the pits there in the distance, our race leaders, as Ross trying to get up to speed, but here comes Barker and Lowell as they'll go flying on past here. So that lap shorter distance able to get them. It looks like maybe a quarter second advantage over Ross. I mean, Ross was really good in and out of pits here tonight, so didn't lose too much time, but you can see through the gap over the 31 and the 47 just a little bit. So out in front, Rob Lowell leads the way, then Johnny Barker here working with that teammate in second. Well, currently sits fifth in points, just 3 points back from third. So a great finish here tonight could very much help the cause of a podium place when it comes to the final season points. Of course, we talked to Barker, didn't have the playoffs he wanted, a lot of bad luck, but still not too far out. He sits seventh in points, right around 18 points off of, oh, excuse me, 8 points off of, let's say, that points battle for third on back. So both these drivers could use a great points night here tonight. And right now, doing exactly that. Them sitting 1-2 here, as everyone else trying to sort themselves, but looks like people working with who they want to. As here for, looks like 6, AJ Cawthon and Dalton Powell run nose to tail. That's right on board with the 51 machine. See what it's like around the lap of MIS with a car in front of you here. These two definitely working together, trying to catch those other cars in front. You can see off in the distance, 2 cars working really well together. Our race leaders, then the 3 in front. You can hear tonight, folks, a lot of time in the throttle, all about momentum, trying not to get this thing to do anything crazy right here. Toughest part of that track, that wall comes up oh so quick. This pack now being led by Kenny Reel in the P number 10 spot in front of Ritter and Wiley. So Reel making up some places here slowly but surely. As Ross has been caught by Delgado and Gravalla working together. Gravalla, a little piece of the wall there down the backstretch. Maybe a push gone bad there for a second. As the 2 out in front now working up to just about a 2-second advantage over this 3-car pack. So that just shows you right there, you know, it's not all about strength and numbers. If you can have the right game plan, you can make up a ton of time even with just 2 cars working together. A lot of cars working together, but here we see Steve Ritter trying to get around Kenny Reel for that P number 10 spot, as Ritter had a long pit stop. I think slid through his box. That lost him a couple spots here, so that is how he ended up in this kind of running order he is in. I think with everyone so spread out, I think we got to throw up the track map so you can see where your favorite driver is on the right side of your screen. As you can tell, a lot of clumps of cars, let's say. If you don't see your favorite driver's number, they're probably drafting with one of the cars there leading their respective pack. As you can see, we grouped up now into about 5 or 6 packs in total, with multiple cars kind of running close to each other. And drivers only going to continue to get spread out, especially if we have, you know, 2 more green flag stops still in the future. Ross continues to hit that inside lane. I am impressed he's still able to drive that car down to that inside lane and make it work, as it is working for this now Sim Motion 44 machine. As you know, Delgado and Gravalla ran him on down pretty quick, but has been a whole different order on trying to get on around this 44. And of course, it's still early in the race. These drivers still a lot of give and take at this point. Race still has over half of the race left in it, so everyone's just trying to be there for those last 20 or so laps. For sure, that last pit stop cycle, because that is where the fun can start. As everyone very even on pace, let's say, around the Speedway, so not too many packs really gaining or losing on the other packs around them, let's say. Third pack out on track, AJ Cawthon, Dalton Powell, these two working together. We saw that for a little bit. Then here in 8th and 9th is the 5 and the 82. 5, of course, Nate Catola, 82, Nick Larson. These two hanging on for a pretty good run here so far tonight. These guys trying to keep that 4-car pack behind them at bay. Wow, we see Larson going to the high side of Catola, so these guys going to try and race out their position here as they go side by side here to turn number 1. So Larson will power on by Catola, will follow into the draft, and I would say, you know, about maybe 0.3 of a second loss to the cars behind, so a little bit of time, but these two got to make sure they work with each other, because if not, that gap's only going to continue to close to that 24 of Kenny Reel. Then Leroy Cobbinet's on his own there in the P number 13 spot. Then the 30 of Reba Canton and Eli Raposa trying to work together to stay on the lead lap, as they are the closest cars to going a lap down Raposa. Last car still out on track as here we go, Ross and Delgado Gravala closing the gap now here, just that little bit more on our race leaders. Kind of ate away about half a second already. As we know, Ross has a lot of long run speed each and every track he comes to us. Trying to put that on display here once again at MIS. Ross still has not missed that bottom line, so that's definitely helping this pace, and probably only going to continue to help it, as we're still 15 laps, if not more, away from the next stop at pit stops. It could also all come down to how this lap traffic is dealt with, as it looks like the 46 actually jumping off the racing surface, so will not be a factor of any sorts as he heads down pit road. Now Ross within a second out in front. They get the orders to change drivers out in front. Now Johnny Barker going to see if he can have a little bit better pace than the 21 here, as these guys don't want those cars behind to get in within half a second. At half a second on back, they start getting the draft down these straightaways. So once that happens, you know, then they can kind of cruise and make up time without really trying. So Ross back there trying to sniff the draft here. We're right on board with John Ross. Last couple of times, some of the best laps on track. you can see, folks, even though these cars look pretty stuck to this track from afar, these drivers really working that throttle pedal, that wheel here to keep these things underneath them with the speed they're carrying. Last time by was a 4:04, that time 4:18. Still better than the cars in front. As Ross within the draft now, gonna take along Delgado and Gravala. Still have hung strong, so we may have a 5-car battle before we know it here, folks. Dalton Powell having some sort of issue. He lost a spot to Nick Larson, so Larson trying to reel in the 25 of Cawthon. As John Ross tries to draw closer. Remember, front two pitted a lap earlier, so Ross technically has just fresher tires than our race leaders. And here we go, folks. Ross within 3 car lengths, now make it 2 on corner exit. Ross gonna stay in the draft. Where will Lowell go? Will he take away Ross's line? Looks like Ross will once again enter that midline drive all the way to the bottom. Now within a car length for P number 2. Lowell definitely going to take the line away there in 3 and 4. Ross doesn't get that good of a run, but enough to go to the inside. John Ross trying to get that P number 2 spot away. They'll dive down side by side here in turn number 1. 44 Ross down low, 21 of Lowell up top. Now Rob should be able to defend like he did there, so it's going to be very tough for anyone to get around each other without, like I said, a big mistake, as you saw Ross get a little out of sorts there as Delgado gave him a big shot down the backstretch. Ross will once again exit a little bit lower, does not have the run, so gonna try again, a little bump from the 31 as well, and once again side by side here. What Ross is really hoping for is the 21 machine to get tight right at that apex, have to get out of that throttle, and Ross can use that shorter distance to kind of almost slide in front of him and just clear him right before both of them get back into the power. So right about there, Ross would want to slide in front, but of course that time not even close to being able to try that. So 21 machine doing a great job at hanging on to the spot, but here comes Barker now backing up to these guys as well. I wonder how much more pace does Johnny Barker have in that car, because if his pace starts falling on off, that could bunch up the rest of these guys. And if Gravala, has a good run, he could be a big beneficiary. So just like we've seen all night long, getting a piece of the wall off of turn number 2. And the other thing that I was going to say was, of course, the reeling someone in and then a whole another ordeal to try and get on around him, as now Ross has been working on Lowell for probably now the last 4, if not 5 laps. And after a little bit for a driver, it starts to become more and more frustrating to know that you're faster than the car in front of you, but just can't quite get the run. As Lowell big time in the wall there off of turn number 2. If Ross was closer, maybe side by side, he definitely could have taken advantage of that situation, but Ross driving in there deep, trying to get clear. It looks like will not. Yes, he will, as the 21 will try and cross him on over. Ross on the defensive driving now, as we see almost three wide here going into turn number 1. Lowell had to jump out of it, enter way shallow, washes way up the speedway. Delgado keeps his foot in it on the high side, trying to get now that P number 3 spot, and he'll do just that. So you got to wonder for the 6 and the 21, how much are these tires worse off at this point, taking them one lap earlier here. Now on lap 59, we got to expect the 21 and the 6 here down on pit road here pretty soon. As we see Lowell up way high, really winding that car. Gravala big time in the wall down the backstretch. As Lowell able to get side by side with Delgado. Lowell will drive it in there deep, almost get a piece of Ross there, as Ross was not expecting that, as Delgado will get a nose to the right rear quarter panel. Here comes Delgado with the draft and the run. Handling definitely going on that 21 machine. You saw him a little bit out of sorts. And I believe we got the call here. Our race leader down on pit road this time. So it looks like Barker and the 21 of Lowell, but Lowell misses pit road here. Oh no, you hate to see it. Lowell missing pit road, gonna lose a lot of time. Unless we get a yellow flag, you know, that could be the end of his race. Cawthon, Larson, Powell, Calvinet's also all down on pit road. So now it's Ross, Delgado, Gravala, our top 3 here. Those guys last time 1 lap longer than those cars. I believe we'll see it again here, as Ross will lead these next 3 down on pit road. Ross having to lock him up big time to miss the 30-man. Gravala very fast on pit road. Did he get it woed up enough? We'll have to wait and see with the report. As now we see Steve Ritter, Jason Wiley, and Kenny Reel. It looks like Wiley staying out for another lap, so Wiley gonna be one of the few. Last time we saw Nick Larson stay out longer than the rest of the field. This time it's Jason Wiley. So Johnny Barker will be all by himself here. Does not have his teammate. As you see Ross, Delgado, Gravala rolling off of pit road there. Barker not going to have the pace with that teammate now. As John Ross has Delgado and Gravala there. Lowell rolling off of pit road, able to get down safely the second time. But now cycling back all the way in P number 6. So Jason Wiley rolling on pit road here once again. Now these drivers only going to have to make one more stop, probably coming around the lap 90 mark. So in the second half of the race, here we go, folks. Johnny Barker out in front. Has 3 fast race cars in a draft behind. Kenny Rio, Don Powell, and maybe Steve Ritter going to join in this battle from 6th, 7th, and 8th. Jason Wiley able to come out of pits, P number 9. Now Nate Catola rounds out the top 10. So it looks like AJ Cawthon. Pit road penalty for the 25. He is now sitting last car running in the order. Trapped 1 lap down in P number 15. A tough break for that crew. So these two working together here out on track, and it looks like able to start to drive away from Steve Ritter. Ritter losing the draft of these two just a little bit there outside of that half second gap, excuse me. As you can see now, after our second round of pit stops, the gaps that have formed. And still 12 cars are on the lead lap here tonight. As the cars we're looking at about a half a track behind our race leaders. As John Ross continues to lead the second pack, hasn't quite ate into Johnny Barker's lead, but you know these guys have that long run pace and gonna probably have the same exact strategy they had before as enough to cut a 2-second lead down. Now the lead now within 1.3 seconds. So before this run, it was pretty even 4 laps led between Johnny Barker and Rob Lowell, but with Lowell having issues, that puts Barker probably out in front for the most laps led up until this point. And I think he needs about 20 more laps or so led, then he for sure locks in the most led laps here tonight. As, like I mentioned before, folks, finally able to talk to him on a podium after last week, but even that didn't come super easy. A little bit of up and down, of course, late race pit road penalty, but so far has hit all his marks, had a clean race and out in front. Barker would love to walk away with a win at any point in this season. So 70 laps now down, 50 to go here tonight at the penultimate race at MIS. That's right, we only have one more week left. Next week, our season championship. These drivers head to Kansas to determine our champion, and right now looking pretty good for John Ross. Had about a 20 points lead coming into tonight. Right now running P number 2. Another good point tonight as long as nothing crazy happens for the 44. Because with the points, we'll run down the order here. John Ross leading them with 932. Then Kenny Reel in the 24th, sitting P number 2 with 911 points. Then we get into the close points battle from third on back. Currently sitting P number 3 in points and P number 3 in the race. That is Christian Delgado with 884. Tied with him is the 25 of AJ Cawthon at 884. So those guys tied for third in points. Then fifth in points with 881 is Rob Lowell. Then Brandon Guerin 877. Sadly, Guerin not here tonight, so he will drop some points. Then our race leader Johnny Barker with 876, tied with seventh with Frank Zingen, who is not here as well, with 876. Dalton Powelson at 868. And then rounding out the top 10 in points, sitting at 865 is Leroy Calvinets. So very, very tight points race here coming up to the end of the championship. These guys trying to decrease that race lead within a second. So far, still just sitting above it. Delgado gets a little bit tight there, able to keep it off the wall. Really, our only kind of three-man pack is these cars, as Lowell just stuck on his own island in that fifth spot. Kenny Reel, Steve Ritter, and Dalton Powell kind of forming up their own three-car pack here. Once again, still sitting about that half track back from our race leaders here tonight. So as you guys can tell, this race definitely a little bit of cat and mouse. As Delgado and Gravalo, they're very close to getting a piece of the wall. That was definitely close, but it's all about that big game plan coming into tonight. How close can we execute it? Can we hit our marks both on track and on pit road? And so far, everyone in the top four doing that. Our first real mistake, but he's still hung on to fifth, is the 21 of Lowell. And everyone on back, of course, having some sort of mistake or issue here tonight. It's here for the top four, closing on in on our race leader. Last time it took about 5 to 7 laps to get around the 21. This time these guys closing on in now with over 10 laps to go. It's going to be a battle here for the race lead before we know it, folks. As Ross within the draft, here we go. We're going to ride on board, looking on back of our race leader, looking at the cars in tow. And you can see right there, folks, where Ross is making up that time right at that corner apex, let's say, and corner exit. Makes up a ton of time, and right on the back bumper he goes. Ross will go to the high side. Barker gets a lot of wheel spin. Here comes Ross, as Ross will go to the inside, battle for the race lead here tonight. Ross looking for his first laps led, not in a pit cycle. Side by side for the race lead as Delgado trying to make it 3 wide off of turn number 4. Gravalo will duck into line. Looks like Barker able to get clear for second. So what does Barker have in store for a comeback as he gets right to the back bumper? Oh, big time loose from Barker as Delgado gonna make up some time on Barker for second. As this is what John Ross wants to see in his mirror. These guys get strung on up and he can try and check out in front. Delgado loose down low will have his teammate Gravalo give him a push. Will this be enough to clear Barker? Barker, of course, stuck on his own here as, oh, a little bit of door smack in there into turn number 1. Barker and Delgado, as looks like Barker would keep his foot in it and trap Gravalo down low. Excuse me, it was Gravalo that they high-five some doors there in turn number 1. So Barker able to defend that spot, hang on to P number 3 at least at the moment. As out in front, John Ross trying to set sail here as Gravalo here still trying to work over Barker for third. As I tell you what, it would be a night for Wild Man Racing to finish 1, 2, 3. If Gravalo can complete the pass, that's how they would sit here. Have Gravalo now on the preferred line up on the top side here off of turn number 4. Will try and get the draft from his teammate and get clear of Barker. So Barker now slips to about P number 4 with still 8 laps until his final stop. Looks like Eli Raposa down on pit road. While this was going on, Jason Wiley got around Dalton Powell for the P number 8 spot, so Wiley continues to work his way up into the middle of the top 10 here tonight. Powell has slipped down the orders just a little bit, currently running 9th. Catola rounding out our top 10. Nick Larson hanging on to P number 11. 12th is Leroy Colbinetz. Last car on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is Ariba Canton, as he is just hoping for a yellow here. He could find himself back on the lead lap. AJ Cawthon in the middle of the points battle, having that penalty on pit road. That has killed his night. He is hoping for a miracle before the end of this one. Up in front, not quite done as Delgado doesn't get a good run off the corner. Gravalo in the wall. Here comes Johnny Barker once again. Barker with a half car advantage. He's going to try and drive it in there, clear the nose of the 31, and he'll do just that. So Barker says, I'm not quite done. He will try and go to the lead as Delgado will try and take as much air off that car as possible to slow him on down. So Barker now in the defensive line has the advantage, still a half a car in front. They will drag race down the backstretch, kind of deja vu. 31 and 47 still working together very nicely, but Barker doing a heck of a defense here. As Delgado able to get clear. And once again, a little door smack in between the 47 and the 6 in turn number 1. So, man, oh man, these guys racing very, very hard. And they know this could be the difference. If you can come out of pit road in front of the cars around you, that would definitely help in the long game, especially with these tires, because these guys showing just how difficult it is to get around a car here. And like I mentioned before, folks, all it takes is one mistake, one little mishap, whether you got to breathe the throttle or, oh, as we see some more contact here, some more as the 6 of Barker will get a shot from Delgado right at the apex there. So these guys, man, gloves are off here, and we still got a pit stop cycle to go, but man, oh man, this is some great racing. But John Ross checking out in front of these guys. So Barker once again up top. Gravala and Barker door to door here. Gravala will get clear. Barker, what will he have for maybe a crossover? It looks like maybe not. Barker will slide into line. But that's because maybe the pit stop is coming up sooner than he thinks. I mean, probably pitting within the next 2 laps. As no, not even that. Barker on the brakes here. He is going to try and undercut as much as possible. I like the call from the 6, Johnny Barker, down on pit road. Now with the leaders, how knee-jerk of a reaction do you want to have? Do you want to come down this time or probably commit to that earlier mark of 90 or 91? Unlike John Ross, have this healthy leave. I say, you know, I got to stay out maybe one more lap, try and get that super tire advantage of a 2-lap advantage. Just no, Ross will stay committed. He comes on down. Delgado and Gravala down as well. Looks like all of them down safely on pit road. I believe we'll see the 24, 16, 13, 82 all also down on pit road. As no, Kenny Reel will stay on out. As I believe the 25 AJ Cawthon ducking down on pit road. So it looks like Reel and Wiley, only 2 cars still out on pit road. And we got to see the distance of the 44 to the 6. 6 just hit the stripe there. Ross trying to get up to speed as much as possible. As Cabinets will go on by. Gravala actually going to come out in front of Barker. Same with Delgado. So wow, even with Barker's 1-lap undercut, he will only come out maybe in the P3 spot. As Kenny Reel looks like we'll be doing another lap. So Reel trying to stretch out this tank as far as possible, hoping something will happen. Ross able to come out on his own island here. Have a still a 2-second lead now over Joseph Gravala. Then Johnny Barker will be 3rd once it cycles out. Delgado right there in 4th. So our race leader Kenny Reel down on pit road. So this will hand over our race lead back to the 44 of John Ross. And just another little stat line too here, folks. Ross already 7 wins this season, trying to make it 8. I want to say, I believe 3 in a row. So Ross trying to shatter all sorts of records. Oh, and he's also going for Rookie of the Year. As Ross will put the 43 cabinets 1 lap down, so that now leaves 11 cars on the lead lap. As Rob Lowell sits in P number 5 once again, just on his own here. On track, Kenny Reel up into P number 6. Steve Ritter still trying to sniff just a little bit of draft of those cars in front of him in 7th. Then 8th is Jason Wiley, 9th Powell, and 10th Catola. So these 3 drivers duking it out for position. Wiley with a big run up on the top side will hang on to that spot. Catola now trying to take advantage of it. He will have a half car on Powell here in 3 and 4. And off of turn number 4, Nate Catola up into P number 9. Now Catola looks to the inside of Wiley, has the 30 machine out in front. So Catola has to either try and hit that middle just right or fall in line. Looks like we'll fall in line with Wiley. Also for P number 3, Delgado got around Barker, but Barker's trying to fight back in the 6. Barker will have to fall in line here. As this time by, folks. We get the countdown clock. That is right, 25 more times on around. Barker's still trying to get a nose to the inside. Nick Larson there in front. They will split Larson 3 wide there, as that did hurt the run by Barker. Now a car length back. So Barker will have to do it all again. Get the momentum rewound up and see what kind of move he can do. As Delgado will get a piece of the wall there. That will help out Barker as they go door to door at the stripe. Barker with maybe a bumper advantage. How deep can he sail it on in there? Can he get clear of Delgado? Looks like at the moment he is, and maybe not quite, as Delgado able to keep a nose up top. As no, Barker able to slam the door here and dive down into turn number 3. So now Delgado, you got to wonder, does he have damage on the right side? I'm going to try and keep a close eye as he goes across the stripe here. I would say no, so maybe Delgado got away with one, but if that pace, rapidly drops off that 31 machine, we definitely know why. As further on back, these guys still duking it out for a top 10 finish here tonight. As Powell now to the inside of Catola. As these guys will try and put AJ Cawthon 1 lap down. That'll put Powell in the middle. Catola will drift up way wide. These guys will stay side by side down the backstretch here. Catola running up against the fence and almost maybe into the fence, as I think Catola may have gotten just a little piece of it. He will lose P number 9 to Powell. And for that 3rd spot, Barker still hanging on. Delgado sitting there ready to pounce. Looks like Joseph Gervala almost far enough away to start breaking that draft. Leroy Kamenetz could be maybe Johnny Barker's savior, let's say, with maybe a car to work with if he has to indeed fight against all three Wildman cars at once. You could see how that works out, because Kamenetz definitely keeping pace with the race leaders to stay the first car one lap down. As yeah, these cars definitely got single filed out and picking up pace. They are wheeling in Joseph Gravale here pretty quickly. Gravale will try and break the draft down the backstretch, go all the way down, and all the way back on up. Inside of 20 to go, now make it 19. A few pockets of battling race cars here tonight, probably going to be 2nd through 4th, and then that 8th through 10th battle here, both still very hot and still undecided on who wants it more. As Barker in the wall off of turn number 2, that is going to not be any help to this team towards the end of this one. Barker will stay on the high side, try and stay in that draft. You definitely see some damage to the 6, so you got to wonder how much is this pace going to be off of this car. Still able to stay in the draft, but yeah, I think if he loses that draft, you know, a podium spot may be a far-fetched option unless we get something crazy by the end of this one. They will stay running like that for a little bit here. Dalton Powell has run back up to P number 8. Wiley back where he started in P number 9. And then Katola still hanging on to that top 10 spot of 10th. Wiley has a run and will take advantage of it. He'll go to the bottom side on Powell. Wiley a little bit loose there, but man, able to really wrap that inside lane, and he will take P number 8 away. As Powell will try and do the same. He'll jump to the inside lane. Let's ride on board once again with the 51 machine of Dalton Powell. Mid-battle with Jason Wiley. Oh, you saw there, folks, Wiley got a piece of the wall, but Powell having to be very timid on that throttle, knowing he'll be in that dirty area. Oh, maybe a little bump gone bad, or maybe a block, as a little bit of extra wheel input down that straightaway here. Here Powell downshift, try and get that car rotated to then drive down to this bottom lane here. As man, Powell with a great run. He's able to get side by side now with Wiley. As we saw, Powell there set up an impressive pass, but can he finish the job there? Looks like no, as Katola will now go to the top side of the 51. So that's where it becomes frustrating as a driver. If you're in the seat of the 51 machine, you know, try and go make a move on the car in front, have a good run, and then it all just kind of falls apart in front of you. And then not only that, have to battle with the car behind that didn't even make a move, let's say. Katola right up against the fence trying to get to the right rear. Looks like he will of Powell's, so Katola should have a pretty decent run. May have had to lift just a little bit there, so not able to make a move by the time they get into turn number 1. But these guys all also battling at this point. Last car on the lead lap is, wow, I'm not sure what happened with Powell, but pretty much let Katola go on by there big time. Maybe he saw the gap to the 13 of Wiley and said, you know, we got to work together with each other, try and race him on down. That could be my only thought process. Out in front, John Ross. We'll see 12 to go at the stripe. Joseph Carvalho running in P number 2. Delgado now having some breathing room to P number 4 of Barker, but Delgado hanging on to P number 3. Of course, Johnny Barker is in P number 4. Rob Lowell in his 21 machine in P number 5. He tries to put the 82 one lap down, and sitting in P number 6, trying to reel in, but running out of time is the 24 of Kenny Reel. 7th is the 16 Leaf Guard machine of Steve Ritter. 8th is Jason Wiley. 9th, Nate Katola. And Dalton Powell rounding out the top 10. Of course, these 3 drivers still could be anyone's race for those 3 positions there. But man, oh man, has this guy right here been on a run. John Ross has been stringing them together left, right, and center. Looking to add another one here tonight. As this time off of turn number 4, Ross will see 2 open palms from the flag man. That is right. 10 laps to go here at MIS. Pit stops are done and over with. It's pretty much whatever juice you have left in the tank. It's time to squeeze it till it's dry. Johnny Barker trying to do exactly that. Him and Delgado get around Raposa, but that slowed up Delgado quite a bit. And here comes Johnny Barker to see what he has left. Barker pretty much running right in the tire tracks of Delgado. Trying to make sure he doesn't lose any ground, but right now staying pretty even pace-wise. With 8 to go, this battle heating on up. Let's see what it's like to be sitting in the stands. That's right, it is the fan cam there, and you see way off in the distance Barker having to yank that car way off that wall. We'll have to see if he has some damage, but Barker losing a ton of time there to Delgado. Now Kyle Bennett's to his outside here on turn number 4. Yeah, Barker definitely having some damage on that number 6 machine, so a tough break there. I think the juice is now fully squeezed from that 6 car. Here for P number 8, Jason Wiley, Nate Katola still doing battle. Both them running the top lane here as once again Katola ripping the fence there on the high side. As Katola will now try and sniff the draft here. As a late pit stop here, the 51 of Dalton Powell down on pit road. That is a tough break. That'll move Powell out of the top 10. Looks like just a splash and go for the 51. So not sure if maybe they didn't just get that car full the last time or what happened, but a tough break there. As man, oh man, look at this here. We may have a battle between teammates as Christian Delgado has caught Joseph Gravala for P number 2. And that time at the stripe, we see 5 to go. 5 to go, and it's shaping up to be anyone's race in this points battle, let's say. Next week gonna be our season finale. Won't want to miss that, as this sets us up for that race. In fact, now with inside of 5 laps to go, Christian Delgado to the inside of Joseph Gravala up top. At this point, teammates gonna try and get the best finishing position between the two of them. Delgado down low, Gravala up top. The one little caveat they gotta be careful of: can't battle too long and let Johnny Barker get in the mix. Once again, Delgado will go to the inside. Gravala runs the middle. They will meet very close, as contact there. Net code definitely, as with 3 to go, Delgado with the advantage at the stripe. So net code for these two last time by. Delgado will take it easy, get a little loose there at the apex. This should allow Joseph Gravala now to have the advantage as he gets a piece of the wall, though. Some more wall. Oh man, this is slowing these two down a bunch, and with that, Johnny Barker has joined into the battle. It's exactly what they didn't want to do, as Christian Delgado out in front. Popsicle sticks up in the air for John Ross. 2 laps to go for these guys. So Delgado able to hang on at the moment. Barker will drive it in there deep, slide on up to the top side, try and get some clean air to jump on that loud pedal. Barker gonna have one shot to do something here, as the 43 and the 46 to work together with lap cars. Also seems like Nick Larson down on pit road here late in the race here. White flag out for the 44 of Ross, but we're going to keep an eye on this battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As Delgado currently leading the way here. Gravala, his teammate, 2nd in this group, and then Johnny Barker sits 3rd car in this group, seeing if he has anything left. You can tell Barker that car not turning at all. You had to hear him really feather that throttle. That looks to be like it. We'll keep an eye, see if any moves made here in 3 and 4. But it looks like no, Delgado gonna hang on, but the man of this season, John Ross, gonna win 8 times now. John Ross wins here at MIS. Delgado 2nd, Gravala 3rd. Then we got to keep an eye here on P number 8, as Jason Wiley trying to hold off Nate Catola. Through 3 and 4, these two will come for the final time. And off at turn number 4, Jason Wiley just gonna hang on as Catola tries his best. He'll go look to the inside. It's a drag race. Wow. I thought Wiley had a lot more than that, but man, Catola made it a heck of a race. But here on the front stretch tonight, John Ross gonna burn him on down once again. This time with a slightly different look. John Ross wins here tonight at MIS. Alrighty, folks, don't go anywhere, especially if you're a fan of our Wild Man Racing. They finished 1, 2, 3. That's a heck of a job by that team, but we'll be back here in a minute to talk to our top 3 drivers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to MIS to talk to our top 3 finishers. And I said, what a day for Wild Man Racing. The first of the 3 of them, we're going to be talking to Joseph Grivala. Joseph, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I got you.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, what a day for Wild Man Racing, and what a day for you. A top 3 finish to walk away with. Gotta feel good with that.
Yeah, this, like I mentioned last week, Michigan is, I'm not too good at this track or these big drafting tracks, so really proud. The pit stop strategies with my teammates, Chris and Ross, worked out. Congrats to Chris and Ross there. Congrats to Ross for the win, but 1, 2, 3 for us. It was good strategy all night is what did it here.
Yeah, a few times you guys, I felt like, especially you, Joseph, you were very close on pit road speed, but everyone able to hit their marks. And I tell you what, how was it working with those teammates through that pack? It seemed like that was a big advantage there.
Man, it's a great feeling. My biggest gripe with these big drafting tracks is that you can't really settle in and get a rhythm going. Someone's always trying to hound you for a position. So when you have teammates all around you and you can coordinate and just line up, hey, we're going to work together, you can really focus and not have to worry about someone diving it in behind you or trying to shoot around you, So I'm very lucky and fortunate to have a pair of teammates there at the end around me, and it helped a lot.
Yeah, I bet it did. Working with people not only that you trust, but people that you can communicate with and coordinate with throughout the race. I mean, how was that battle once you got to Lowell and Barker there, right around that halfway point? I thought that was going to be the 2-team battle there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Rob. Maybe messed up on a pit stop or something like that, because he was suddenly gone after our second pit stop. But that fight we had before the first one, it was pretty rough because we were all on older tires and the car didn't want to turn no more. So it was a good fight. Little beaten, little leaning on each other, but it's good. That's racing. Nobody wrecked, nobody put nobody in the wall. So a little bumping here and there never hurts, and I'm sure it looked pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, it definitely was some excited racing. Well, Joseph, now with tonight complete, only one race left. How you feeling heading into Kansas?
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. We're racking up these podiums. Again, big thanks in part to the teammates, but we're there every week. Hopefully, we can really come on strong next season. But we'll try to finish it off at Kansas, maybe with the win, hopefully. But if not, we'll take another podium.
Oh yeah, it would be a great way to end the season with a streak of talking to me by the end of this one. Well, Joseph, always a pleasure talking to you. Before we let you go and celebrate P number 3, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either tuning in at home or maybe on this 47 car.
Hey, buddy, thank you for putting it on here each and every week, dedicating the time. It allows everybody, fans and family and friends and all that, to watch the race, and the drivers to watch the race back. So thank you first, of course, to Dad for always supporting me racing virtually or in real life, playing crew chief there when we go karting. So he's his own genius there, I think. So big thanks to Dad. Of course, the family, kids, wife, sister, and can't forget about the car sponsors now. So it's BKA El Paso Motorsports Karting Club on Facebook. Give them a thumbs up. Expand the kart club. It's family friendly racing here in El Paso, Texas. Need for Speed Automotive Repair in El Paso, Texas, who's a big supporter of us and the kart club there. He does mechanic works, oil changes, all that good stuff. And if anybody's looking to get into karting for the first time, TandaRacing.com is the Praga kart supplier for the entire country. He's a great guy. It's owned by, his name is Trey. Great guy. He'll work with you. TandaRacing.com, entry-level karting. It's as cheap as you can get to go for some racing. So go check out the website, guys. It's going to be a good way to get into some karting, some racing.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff there, Joseph. Like I said, always a pleasure talking to you. You have yourself a great rest of the night. And I can't see what kind of racing action you can put on next week at the season finale at Kansas.
Absolutely. We'll be there.
Alrighty, man. Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Thanks.
Alrighty, folks. That was our third place finisher, Joseph Gervala. Now we'll head down to P number 2. It is the 31 of Christian Delgado. Christian, do you got a copy of Spread the Jet in the booth here?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Alrighty, well, first and foremost, what a run by you and Wild Man Racing. 1, 2, 3, and working together great all night long, it seemed.
Yeah, it was definitely great. I knew that all of us had pace, even Leroy. I think Leroy got caught up in some stuff, and had to go and take one of the fasties, but even he was fast at the end there, keeping up with us, the leaders, even though it was a lap car. But yeah, once we figured out what we kind of needed to do, we saw the 6 and the 21, they short pit us, which we knew they were going to have that advantage out, and we kind of just decided amongst ourselves, like, we can't really fight right now. We kind of have to work with each other like those two were to catch back up. I mean, especially with how drafty this track is, it's borderline a super speedway. So we knew that we had to kind of work together, give each other shoves out, and then finally we got past them. It was a tough task. Rob and Johnny did not make it easy for us to get around those two, but we did. And then, we had the better pit stops. I don't know what happened to Rob. Maybe he sped. I don't know exactly what happened, but he got disconnected from his buddy up there, and when that happened, it kind of just put everything on our side of the table. So we knew that if we didn't, really race really hard throughout that last run, we could kind of pull away and stuff. And Johnny, even with Johnny there, I think we still did a good job managing track position and keeping everybody up in the 1, 2, 3 spots.
Yeah, that you guys did play the strategy just right, and you and Gravala battling out for that last spot. I mean, Barker got pretty close there at the end. I was wondering, did you guys slow each other up too much there?
No, it was definitely that's something that came to my mind. I was like, I knew that I had saved a little bit better tire than Joe. Had kind of sat in second and was actually just trying to catch John right there. And I was like, oh, I've been just back here saving my stuff. So when I tried to make the move, and I saw him trying to fight me. I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna have to get by him as quick as I can because I don't want, worst case scenario, we stall each other out and Johnny gets past both of us. So I was like, shoot, I'm gonna have to get on my horse and go right here and get around him as soon as I can. And luckily, Joe got to keep that P3, which is really good to see. But yeah, definitely really a blast battling with Joe there at the end. I mean, we had a good talk at the end about we're, our, we're both definitely like, why are we racing each other at the end there? We almost gave up, the 1, 2, 3, but luckily I got out there in front and it kind of gapped him a little bit, and then Joe was able to hang on just that little bit to keep his third.
Yep, and that you guys did an awesome job here tonight. And with that awesome job, Christian, helps you in the points. You are part of that very tight 3rd through 10th in points. You sat P number 3 coming into tonight with a great points night here. How you feeling heading into next week at Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas, I would say, is probably my favorite track on the service. It's my home track, so I've definitely gone out of my way to run a lot of laps there just when I'm bored and stuff. So especially in the action, I love how different from every mile and a half that's on the service that Kansas is, right? Most of the time you kind of just rip the wall, and it's just about that thin margin of error, right? If you overstep it just that little bit, right, you can get up in the wall and lose 5, 6, 7 spots. But also you can, use the bottom and 3 and 4, kind of do that slide job maneuver that you saw a lot here at Michigan, and gain some spots that way. So I'm, super excited for Kansas, and I'm super excited that we could come out here. I knew AJ and I are really tight on points here, and I think AJ didn't have the best race here. So and obviously us having a good run definitely helps with the points.
Yeah, that it does, Christian. Well, always a great time talking to you. Before we let you go and celebrate a runner-up finish here tonight and a great points finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either tuning in at home or who's on this 31 machine.
Yeah, once again, I always have to give a shout out to Rob here running the league. I know he's gotten a lot of flack and stuff throughout some of the races, and just got to thank him immensely for what he's doing here, putting on the league. I know he's doing a lot of work in the background, trying to make things the best he can. I know it's a hard task to kind of do a one-man show, especially with the league this big and this popular. So thanks, Rob, for all you do here, and we all appreciate you. But also got to shout out my sponsors: Track Racer, High Velocity TV, Steel Car Detailing, Butt Kicker. Shout out to the Bean Team. Thank you guys so much for all you do for me. Shout out to Wildman Racing. Shout out to Leroy, John, and Joe. I mean, it was I've as you saw, we had a great run today, and it's been a blast racing with them all season. Lastly, got to shout out the people over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. They expect me to run well, especially with how the season's gone. So it's good that they're in here having a good time, having a blast. But lastly, gotta give a huge shout out to you, Brett, for putting on a broadcast. As a broadcaster myself, I know it's hard, especially as a one-man group putting on these broadcasts. So I know all of us drivers, all of us fans at home, Rob, everybody involved, really appreciate what you're doing here.
All righty, Christian. Well, appreciate the kind words there. And you, my man, have a great rest of your night. Go recollect those thoughts and get ready for the season finale, as you made your job a little bit easier heading into next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brett.
All righty, folks. That was our P number 2 finisher, Christian Delgado. Now we'll head down to Victory Circle and talk to the man of the hour. It is John Ross. John, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I copy you.
All righty, man. Tell us about this race here tonight and how that team strategy worked out so well. Wild man, 1, 2, 3 finish.
Yeah, we have to be proud about that. And it was kind of crazy because early on, Rob, I had the wreck early on, and thank goodness we have a fast repair because that was the end of my car. But yeah, once Christian and Joseph and I hooked up, we seen Rob and Johnny. They were doing the exact same thing, and they were really quick out there. And so we just wanted to stay in line and try to run them down. And I was trying to run a lower line to keep clean air on Christian's nose, and he was trying to run that middle to high line to keep clean air off of on Joseph so that we can push each other. And we would catch them at the end of a fuel run. And then they would short pit us by about a lap, maybe 2 laps, and so they come back out like a second and a half or 1.8 seconds ahead of us, and we would kind of hold them there until the end of the run. And but they were really quick. It was good for us. We really kind of stayed in line and said, when it gets about 10 to 15 laps, it's everybody's game. And I got out on pits a little bit better than they did on that last stint, and that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, walking through that battle with, the Wolfpack racing and this Wildman racing, I mean, that seemed pretty intense, but sadly that second half of the battle, once we got to that lap 75 mark, only one car there left.
It was a great battle, and when Johnny and Rob were nose to tail, I knew the goal would be to try to break them up. And Rob would I kind of get a good run underneath of Rob, and Christian would come and push me down the straights, but you just could not get off of the turn well enough to make the pass. And I just had to keep trying him until I was finally able to slide up and break him and Johnny apart. And when I was able to do that, I guess Rob might have sped in the pits. And I think that's what hurt them, because if Johnny and Rob could have stayed together, it was going to be a crazy battle.
Yeah, that it was. As John, I think with points finish you had tonight, you pretty much put this championship out of reach. We'll save all the finale stuff for next week, but how does it feel, man, to go into next week with pretty much not too much pressure on those shoulders?
Yeah, it feels great. And Brett, sometimes when you start these leagues, I think the goal is to run around great guys that you can run with and be competitive with. And if you have a little bit of success, I think it starts to grow and you start to look at the championship points a little bit. And then when you make it, and we had a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. And you get some good rolls and a couple of wins in the playoffs, and all of a sudden you think, man, I could win the championship. And we'll look and see what the points are. But man, I can't thank the 802 league enough, and Rob and all of the admins and AJ and Johnny and all of those guys. It's been fantastic running with them this year.
Yeah, you guys have put together a lot of great racing, a lot of great action-packed battles on track, and it's always been a great time bringing it from the booth, and I'm sure you guys just enjoyed just as much out on track.
Absolutely, it's a ton of fun, and we talk about it, because we're into the voice chat, and this Michigan really lends to that, right? Because you can get really good runs off of the top. There's some drafting, there's some pushing. You can pinch somebody down. It's just loose enough to kind of kill a run. You can side draft people. So I knew that the track was going to lend to it, and it really did, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, Johnny and Rob, they're always really hard, and they run really hard, which is good because I enjoy it. I enjoy the door slamming. That's a lot of fun to me, and we put shows on like that, and we keep it green the whole time, and everybody's respectable. So yeah, it's been fantastic racing this season.
Yeah, that it has, John. Well, once again here in Victory Lane, I believe your 8th time this season. John, I'm going to go hand it over to you and thank who you got to thank, either tuning on at home or on the car, as we see a new wrap here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to call out. We got some new sponsors that have jumped on board with us, and that's USSimMotion.com. And go there, and if you need anything for track racer equipment, Sim Magic stuff, they're a fantastic place to shop. And we got majors. You can use code Ross99 if anybody's doing any open sets. They do great. And my Wildman team, I got to thank them. And Leroy, unfortunately, kind of dropped the draft tonight, but 1, 2, 3 finish, Christian and Joseph, and thank you, Leroy and Roman. That's always in the chat with us. So want to thank everybody. And then obviously 802, I've already thanked Rob, but I want to thank the sponsors for the league one more time. That's Riptide Radio, DTL Customs, BG Graphics, and Leaf Guard. Certainly appreciate those guys getting on board, and we'll see you next week for the finale.
Yes, that we will, John. One more week to go. You go have a great rest of your night. Go celebrate another win, and we'll catch you next week at Kansas.
Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks, that was John Ross down in victory lane for another time this season. Here, we'll get rocking and rolling with the race results here. John Ross picks up win number 8 of the season. Christian Delgado will finish second. Third going to Joseph Gurvala. Fourth will be the 6 of Johnny Barker. Rounding out the top 5 is the 21 of Rob Lowell. 6th is Kenny Reel in the 24. 7th is Steve Ritter in the 16. Finishing P number 8 is Jason Wiley. 9th going to Nate Catola. And then rounding out the top 10, first car 1 lap down is the 43 of Leroy Cobblenets. 11th going to Dalton Powell. 12th is Ariba Canton. 13th is Eli Raposa. 14th Nick Larson. 15th AJ Cawthon. 16th did not start was Connor Barker. And then Dave Farella finishing 17th did not start as well. So that will do it here tonight from the penultimate race of the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Series. Be sure to tune in next week as it is the season finale at the Kansas Motor Speedway. We, of course, got to thank those sponsors here. Title sponsor, you saw it on screen. That was Riptide Radio. The sounds of the salt, sand, and sea. Broadcaster from Ocean Drive, South Carolina. Free download for the best in Carolina beach and boogie music. Of course, also jumping on board, we have the BG Graphics Pole Award, Out of the Woods Crafts Rookie of the Year, DTL Custom Graphcs, and Leaf Guard as well. Of course, Turn 3 Racing Network is partnered with Premier Setups. That is the logo you see on the bottom right of your screen. If you would be so kind, show your support to us and who we support. Check out, just click that link in the description. It'll take you on over there. Even if you don't want to buy anything, just at least browse what they have to offer. With Turn 3, we have a lot of broadcasts throughout the week with different broadcasters, so you can find whatever you are looking for in the virtual racing world. Everyone, take care, stay safe, and we will catch you here in 1 week's time for the season championship. You won't want to miss it. I'm Brett the Jet, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.